Hello, UCAR. Peter Christensen here, coming to you from the CEO's desk. Going to do another quick legal topic. We're going to talk about easements. Easements seem to be just a part of buying residential land nowadays. And so what is an easement? An easement is not an ownership right on property, but a right to control the use of property in some way, is how I'd probably say it. So we're going to talk specifically about express easements. Now, easements come in multiple shapes and forms, and can be created in multiple different ways. But express easements are written easements signed by the parties, and a little bit of a formal agreement. And these you'll see with property sometimes. So it can be a right to most often it's a right to use the property, right? A right to access a road. There can be an easement for a road, a right-of-way. It could even be a walking path. There can be an easement for a walking path. But it can also be a negative easement, so a restrictive easement. So basically saying you won't do something with the property. You won't build on this section of the property. So that can be an easement. And sometimes an affirmative easement can be a negative easement. So you have a right to access a different parcel of land through this one. Well, then the owner of the land granting the right of way cannot put a fence up or a locked gate, can kind of control or suddenly loses that ability to use that land in a way that would defeat the easement. So even though it's an affirmative right to use the land, it can restrict how the owner of the land uses it. Okay. Most of the time I think of easements, and I think of it as sort of what we say running with the land, but it doesn't have to be that way. An easement can be specifically tailored for a period of time or tied to a specific scenario or use, and even sometimes a specific owner. And so those are things to look at when looking at an easement. And then also an easement is starting to sound a lot like a contract, isn't it? It can also dictate how it can be changed or terminated. So all those things can be put into an easement. So they're by no means one size fits all. And I would always advise, if a buyer or seller is considering an easement or has an easement and is figuring out what it does, that they consult legal counsel on what it does and how it might affect their sale or purchase. But that's kind of how an express easement works and how it's formulated. Remember, this is not legal advice. This is legal information only. If you need specific legal advice, please contact your attorney. Thanks for tuning in.